Haven't seen the,
Well, you are as our vice chair, you are, officiating today.
okay,
And so, at your pleasure.
okay, it's, are we, that's,
6:01.
okay, so I'm gonna, bring our North Plains Library Board meeting to order at 6:01. Um. Let's, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Roll call. So this is where I always found a difference between the way the city council does it and we do it, because we kind of just do a personal call, and I'm here.
Well, if you can just say your name for the recording, that's just
Okay.
helps me. Oh, that's good.
So, David Hatcher,
Main pool.
Tim Shaw,
Larry Gonzalez,
Allie Pollock.
Mandy Hagedorn.
And Nandu,
Hello.
oh, we're just doing roll call.
Oh, okay.
So,
Nandu's here.
see that you're, thank you. All right.
okay, is that everyone? No, Larry tonight.
yeah, I said hi.
Oh, there you
Larry,
are. Hi.
Larry Gonzalez, yeah.
Okay, consent agenda. Has everybody had an opportunity to review, February 18th minutes?
Yes.
Any changes? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda. We have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, hearing none. Public comments. The mass public, anyone want to say anything?
One at a time, take your turn. No.
Okay, seeing no one's there, excuse me. Reports, library director report, please.
Hello. I just shared my screen, so I'm just gonna go to that part. I just have one announcement I told council on Monday evening, but Monday morning, staff noticed our flag in front of the annex looked funny, like it was hanging weird, and so, what had happened was one of the eyelets ripped out, and Cody came, our public works came and was unable to repair it, so removed it properly and ordered us a new one. Oh, I haven't even checked if it was up. It might even be up already, but if you heard anything about that, the flag, it broke and was replaced. It's being replaced. But other than that, I mean, I hopefully you've had a chance to read through the report. It's some pretty exciting stuff. Was looking around on our new business in town, ASML, they're pretty new. And they had this community, they talked about how they support their local communities. And it looked like they had similar values to the library and so forth. So, I filled out their little application, to see if we were having to replace staff laptops out of cycle because of, the technology that our former IT firm procured for us was just less than stellar. So anyway, they weren't able to fund that exactly, but they did reach out and wanted to talk to us and said they've been wanting to partner with the city for something or to do something for the community here in North Plains. So they were really happy that I started the conversation, and then, we talked about. Since we're not a, low economic area. Well, we could, we could get a grant for STEM programming. And that we could also include a staff laptop in the request, which was nice. So Brianna, our librarian, helped rewrite the application, and they can only give these grants to nonprofits, so the Friends of the Library became involved, and will be receiving those funds. And then distributing it back to us for the approved expenses. And so it's awesome. And so we're gonna have an epic summer of STEM activities. And some additional, we're gonna refresh our STEM kits, which are items people can check out, like, we have one that's all different kinds of rocks from the Smithsonian, like kids can identify with a magnifying glass and stuff like that. So, and then some of the rocks are lost and stuff. And yeah, we're gonna be bringing in some professionals to, so yeah, it's gonna be great. We're very excited and appreciate them, wanting to get back to the community. And then likewise, Peak Chiropractic chose us for their next fundraiser. Unfortunately, they moved the date to during the Oregon Library Association conference. So the staff can't have a table there like we had hoped. We're not even having story time that week because we're sending staff to the conference, but the Friends of the Library may be able to have a table there. And as our nonprofit counterpart, they, fundraising entity, it's nice for them to get that visibility too. And yet your donation to them is tax deductible, so, and I think you might remember Kate, who attended our last library board meeting as part of their internship. But they concluded the internship and will still be around volunteering, helping with tech help for people. And so, any questions about the report?
No. Okay, that's it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to statistics.
All right, for February, a shorter month, still as per usual, we're trending upward in checkout, so, but not quite as many items added to the collection maybe in a typical month. There was one of the big library vendors closed, and so the library vendor or the library book vendor we use is very backed up on orders, so. And then they've been making more mistakes on our things. We're getting items for North something else. This wrong stickers on our books and things like that. So it's made a little bit of a bottleneck in us getting items out in a timely manner, but everyone's sort of in that boat because of one of the huge library book vendors closed, Baker and Taylor. And so now we are, so as Ingram customers, everybody came to Ingram pretty much. And those are just vendors that give libraries discounts off the retail price. Because you're buying in bulk and so forth. And then we also get our items partially pre-processed by the vendor. So they put on this barcode and some stickers, or they'll cover the, like, Megan has a book, library book here so it has this like Mylar cover. So, we'll just have that done. And then it's less staff time needed here. But yeah, visitors up a little, about the same. Feels like we've been making a lot of new library cards. We've had quite a few new families come in the past month, I would say. Just anecdotal.
Robin, for new patrons, do you guys have any trends in terms of where they're coming from, demographics, what's driving the new enrollments?
Um, hmm, I,
Are they all local?
well, yes, they're local. Yeah, so I mean, usually they have moved to the area. Is usually when I haven't made all these library cards myself personally, so I don't. I'd have to, look them up. But generally, yeah, it's just usually new people who moved to the area or heard about the library somehow. Or a friend told them about story time but it's interesting because we have some data, but it's very strictly it's owned by the county because they own our system. And then we do have a Tableau to pull reports, but I don't know that Tableau pulls, addresses. Like I've not seen a report with it's not a GIS function, like a mapping function on it right now. So I'm not sure.
Is that pretty consistent though, number wise, or is 12 higher than normal month to month?
That's not, I mean, that's a pretty typical number for a month, I'd
Okay.
say.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And then just our other statistics this is the countywide snapshot of, move this. The countywide snapshot of checkouts, remembering that we're one of 14 locations. Some libraries have more than one location or, system.
Cornelius.
So Hillsborough has two, Cedar Mill has the Cedar Mill and the Bethany. Beaverton has a Murray Shoals branch and their main library. Garden Home and West Slope are now combined into one nonprofit, so that's essentially two locations. So yeah, we're continuing. We have an increase over the month before, which again is not as common. You might see a huge jump in Tualatin, or sorry, a huge decrease in Tigard and a jump in Tualatin. That's because the Tigard Library is closed for they had to have the roof redone in conjunction with an HVAC project. It's major. So Tualatin's getting a lot of their traffic. And they do have a little temporary location, but it's pretty minimal. Yeah. Oh, and I also include the trends of physical and digital checkouts now, so we can kind of see how people are choosing to use the library. And so you can see overall it's about 50-50 of physical book checkouts and digital checkouts. And we're about we have a little tiny bit more physical checkouts, but we're about 50-50 here. Any questions about the statistics?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, finance report, and I saw a little peek of it as you scrolled.
Yeah. I also printed a couple for the table. Because this question's come up a few months in a row, I just highlighted our WCCLS disbursement number. I haven't updated this yet because we haven't signed the new agreement yet. And so I'm gonna wait till we sign the new agreement before I update this number to the new amount. You never know, I just don't wanna change it until things are signed. But I put down at the bottom. I move the captions of it. once we sign, if everything stays the same, that number will change to 721,616. Instead of, instead of the highlighted number there. Because we weren't sure when we did the budget process what to estimate for the next year. Starting this July, the second half of our biennium, and now we have a number. And so then you'll see that when we do the next 2-year budget, it'll be another $78,000 higher. Because that was about the difference. So it'll be another, it'll be like, 800,000 for the next, when we do the next budget preparation or thereabouts. So I just wanted to, since it's been a question, just address it in the report until we change it.
Question. So that amount, you can depend on that exact amount for 5 years?
Not exactly. Once we sign the agreement, that's a great question. That we'll cover that a little in the update about this project, but supposedly it's supposed to fluctuate based on property tax revenue. So it says what we'll have for next fiscal year 27, but it doesn't really have anything so far in the agreement beyond that just that it'll escalate. It'll escalate annually along with tax revenue. But that's something that the executives are all trying to figure out what needs to be in the agreement before they sign it. Because it would be nice to know what exactly what we're getting for 5 years. It's really helpful to know that, but the county won't promise that because they don't know what's gonna happen with like taxes.
So when I was mayor, we were in a recession and property tax decreased, house values decreased, so.
So that, again, that's why they don't wanna like say, oh, we'll give you this exact amount for 5 years, because if that happens, everything's out the window. I
Yeah.
mean, so yeah, I'll cover that a little when I talk about the WCCLS funding and governance project. Otherwise, our spending's on target. Everything's just about where it should be. Our health benefits are trending a little higher than budgeted, but it's hard because there's such a huge difference between the cost of a single person's insurance and a whole family's insurance. And until someone's hired, you don't know what they're gonna choose. And so, we were just, off for a benefited employee, and that's not their fault, it's just. I've worked some places where they budget at the top step for everyone and the top possible benefit costs, and I've worked places this is the only place I've worked where they really budget exactly what they think the person will be making, which step and everything. I've never worked somewhere where it's like that exact, but I can understand. But with benefits, I don't know if we should budget with a bit higher placeholder or something, or maybe assume just the middle one or something like that instead of the least expensive one, because I'm not sure. But overall, that bottom line is fine. It's under budget for the personnel cost. I just, I keep an eye on it. The budget, unless anyone has any questions.
Okay. Okay, moving on, ongoing business, WCCLS funding and governance
Yes,
review of proposal IGA.
yes, let me stop sharing for a second. Or I'll just go back to the agenda. All right, so Bill and I have had, I think, 2 work sessions since the last board meeting. To work on the intergovernmental agreement I was mentioning. And just gonna get this bigger. And it's a very aggressive timeline. And it's a lot of agencies trying to agree on something that has money and responsibilities in it. And so it's been, it's felt a bit rushed, and it's been a bit, I don't know, there's been a lot of feelings in the room, I would say. However, our next step will be a draft. We are done meeting. That was our last work session of this whole entire multi-year project. They said, let's see.
How the funds are allocated to each libraries created some tension.
No, that part's done. This is the new intergovernmental agreement that's gonna replace the current one. It has, for the first time, it actually has, what the members are responsible to do. Not just what WCCLS is responsible to do, and it also includes some reporting requirements of what you're doing with the money. It never had that before, believe it or not. And so we did discuss what kind of reporting would be sensible and not add a big workload. We already collect library statistics for the state, and so those are the same statistics that would show whether or not we were meeting the base service level requirements, like how many hours you're open, how many like programs you have, so forth. So
These base levels set by the state or by.
that was part of the project. It was set by this group of city managers, WCCLS management, or county administration.
So going forward. Hours.
Minimum of 45 open hours, and we're at 52.
Okay.
And so, and then, yeah, we can go back over those
Yeah. once you
another
get
time.
that signed, it would be nice. Just
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah. The only ones that we may not be meeting are the outreach requirements, but I don't know that those have been totally defined. So it's, that might, we'll have to see what the draft ends up having in it
Yeah.
after everyone's feedback.
Can
But-
you give an example? Outreach or
Sure, outreach would be like doing a story time in a park, somewhere where not a lot of people have library cards or something in our service area. Or going to a school event, or doing a table at National Night Out, because that's a public safety program, but the library's partnering with them to do outreach to the community. So we do outreach. I just don't know what. We don't go to every area, every part of our service area right now to do outreach. Our service area is about 15 square miles or so, so it goes all the way to the county line on one side. It doesn't go all the way up to Columbia County anymore, because that's part of Banks School District, so we changed that, but you know, it's pretty sizable. So I don't know if we're gonna be required to go to areas, or once, you know, I don't think they'll get that detailed in this agreement, but we'll see.
points.
Right. We certainly do want to serve our whole service area the best we can. So
Is a ballpark estimate when this might be completed?
our final feedback is due this Friday. And then, so the draft will come out, let me see, I have the calendar. The draft is set to come out the very beginning of April. And then you all will get to review it, the draft, in your next month's library board meeting, and I'll present it to council. Although I'm not sure when, since our work sessions are pretty packed for council, but I almost recommended Monday that you all just do some special meetings, but I don't know how people would like that. So then the final IGs need to be prepared at the beginning of May, because they have to be approved by the county board of, they have to be signed by the county board of commissioners too, on the county's end. So they'll probably have to do that in a meeting where they do their part, like we agree to these or something. Yeah, so I'm at that next month, I'll plan on asking you all for your feedback and then your overall, is it a green light, yellow light, or red light, on what you think. And yeah. And then I'll bring that message to the council that you advise that we do it, that we remain a member library or not. Hopefully you will, because we worked really hard.
Okay, moving on. Presentation on Library Legislative Day in Washington DC, and that's you.
That's me again. All right, let me, I gotta share my screen right for a PowerPoint. Okay. One sec, I think I have to open it first. It's one of those, sometimes I do it out of order and no one can see it. Oops. Oh my gosh, I have so many things open. All right.
Well, your desktop is a lot cleaner than mine.
Well, I try to only use it for presentations and things, so.
Robin Goes to Washington. Sounds like a movie.
I think I have to start the slideshow then share. Should I do it on my computer? Why is it asking me? Sorry, everyone. One of these days I'll remember. Let me know, please, on Zoom if you can't see it once I start the slideshow. Because I think last time it didn't advance or something.
So far, so good.
So far we can see it.
All right. Okay, well, I don't know if you know that I'm on the Oregon Library Association Legislative Committee, but the last two long sessions of Oregon Legislature, I've gone to Salem and done the Library Legislative Day in Salem. And so when the Oregon Library Association president couldn't go to National Library Legislative Day, they asked the co-chairs of the legislative committee who maybe they could ask to go and replace, and they recommended me. That's very honored to, and then I was supposed to go to another conference, but Bill said that he would go to it so that I could take advantage of this opportunity. That was good. All right, so I said I needed a briefcase and business cards. I had neither of those things, so I got a briefcase and had some business cards made. Now I have actual matching business cards, but somehow I didn't have any. And I went, and our first day had briefing. And in that we're in downtown DC in like a Marriott conference room. That was the hotel where we stayed. And so they told us about, we had an agenda, we had speakers explaining how to talk to the legislators about the, our items that we had, and I'll tell you what the items were that we were informing them about. That is telling them about how federal funding is used in libraries and their constituents areas is basically what we were doing. And we had some higher up staff from some legislators come talk to us, and it was really interesting. I learned a lot.
Robin, are you advancing slides at all, or I'm still on slide 1?
All right, I'm just gonna not do it as a slideshow then, I think. So I'll just do it. I'll just do it like on my, just like this. I won't do it as a presentation.
Where are you at on that group?
1 sec. Just gonna share it again. All right, thanks for letting me know that, Larry.
Nice pictures.
Can you see that now of me
Yep.
in the training? Okay,
Yep,
so
and the bunny.
that's Wallace the book bug. That is the WCCLS mascot. I got to bring Wallace, and WCCLS did do some posts of Wallace going to the Capitol. It's pretty funny. And the WCCLS staff really appreciated it too. It gave them a boost that I had so many Wallace pictures. Okay, so then day 2 was the actual legislative day. And there were 200 and something librarians from all over the nation. And that's our little delegation there. So there's me and Annie Lewis, who's the head of all the Multnomah County libraries. So it was like small library and someone who manages a lot of big libraries. And then Jean Gritter is a high school librarian in Albany, South Albany. And Diana Castillo is a Oregon State University librarian for the business college. And so the 4 of us were the ones from Oregon. And it's a lively group. It was very early in the morning. Well, it felt early. Wait, is that right? Maybe it felt, no, I don't know. My timing was a little off.
Where you had a
So,
several hour time difference?
I guess it should have felt late. I'm just always tired. All right, so here we are inside the Senate building. Okay, so if you can see, that hallway is marble. We were walking on concrete and marble most of the day. I'm really glad I had good walking shoes on. And they were strict about the size your bag could be, which is why I couldn't bring the computer bag I already have. This picture of the little trolley, I guess they used to use that to go down the hall to transport people, but I didn't see any active ones when I was there. Someone told me they still use them, but that was on display with kind of like a museum-esque display, so you could see it. That's how I guess people used to get around the building, and the Senate building has that sculpture in one of the atrium area or the atrium area. And so in the Senate building, our Oregon senators' offices, all 4 of us went as a group to visit Senator Wyden and Senator Merkley. And so I'm with Wallace again, Senator Merkley's office. Senator Merkley had a little picture of the elephant from the Oregon Zoo, a little guest book. Senator Wyden had Portland Airport carpet in his office, which was funny. The whole thing. Actually, Merkley, you can see that little square. He had a tiny square of it. I don't know. And then the other senator had the whole thing. So, and then Senator Wyden had some different memorabilia of Oregon, like this saw, and it was pretty interesting in the reception area. So we didn't actually meet with the senators. They had us scheduled to meet with their staff, the staff that would be most relevant to what we're talking about. And so, I have their business cards on my desk, but we met with, staff. They weren't really junior staff. I mean, they were, I'd say medium level. And then I was getting pretty tired by the time we were in the House of Representatives, so I only took this one picture, but Representative Bonamici had visited our library recently, so I wanted to make sure I got a picture that I was now visiting her. But we had our group of 4 split up to visit different representatives, so Annie and I visited Representative Bonamici and Representative Dexter's office, and then the others visited some different representatives. And what we were talking to them about, and Representative Dexter's office, the person we were supposed to meet with was sick, and it was like the most junior intern, I think, so we had to meet with the receptionist, who was a lovely young man. So that's just, how it is. So what we were asking is that they fully fund the Library Technology and Services Act distributions to states. So these are funds from the Institute for Museum and Library Services. And that budget for that institute is to send disbursements of funding to states for library technology and services. So about a lot of the staff at our state library is paid with these funds. Here in North Plains, you have access to online databases that are paid for with these funds. You can call 24/7 reference service that's paid for with these. It supports our Oregon Battle of the Books program. It also, in Eastern Oregon, it pays for library materials to be transported from one library to another. It pays for the Sage Courier service. It'll had a printout with all the things. I was gonna pass it on, but I'll pull something up. 1 second, I'll just. Oops. Well, anyway. I can email it to you, but we had a little flyer prepared by the state library that's just, it had the actual numbers on it of what I'm telling you. And so the other thing we asked was that they, oh, here it is. Oh, that's District 5. Well, we also asked them to fully fund the E-rate program, which the E-rate program provides discounted broadband internet access to schools and libraries. And so we asked for that program to be continued. And then we also asked them to support the Innovative Approaches to Literacy program and increase the funding for that. And that one of the things it does is provide training for school librarians. The school librarian in our group said Oregon is 48th in the nation for school librarian to student ratio, and so no one's actually been able to use any of these funds yet that she knows of. But that, so we sort of made that visible to our legislators that, if the program could be expanded to include the media specialists, not just credentialed librarians, that would be helpful for Oregon. Because yeah, Oregon just has one credentialed librarian for every 6,000 students or so. And like Alabama, for example, has one for every 600 students. And so you see like Alabama's has the top reading scores, I think, right now in the nation. And we're 4th from the bottom in the nation in Oregon. The biggest elimination of credentialed school librarians was in 2010 and 2011. And if you look at the reading scores in Oregon since then, they've trended down. And our school librarians said that's not just a correlation, like the data does back up that not having credentialed librarians in the library as that literacy learning support has really had a negative impact on kids being able to learn to read. Just, you know,
Abby, say that again.
not having credentialed
Oh,
librarians in schools
missed that.
has impacted kids'
Yeah.
ability to learn to read in Oregon. And so, I mean, she called it an emergency, the school librarian, just. So we brought that to their attention and that was, and we told them about how people use, the library in their areas. And then I went to the Library of Congress and checked it out. That's a Gutenberg Bible that I had on display. And so, the first things printed when they invented the printing press were these Gutenberg Bibles. And so it was kind of neat to see one. And just a really beautiful building. We also talked about streamlining and simplifying the federal grant process because I have never applied for LSTA funding directly for this library because we don't have the staff time to manage a federal grant. We don't have capacity. And so because there's so many small cities and small libraries in Oregon, the E-rate discounts are being really underutilized in Oregon. So, and the direct library services and technology act funding is really underutilized. So we did talk to them about supporting, streamlining and simplifying the federal grant process while still ensuring, good stewardship and transparency, but just try to make it, there's got to be a way to make it simple and not take so much time. The state library hired a part-time consultant to help libraries be able to use some of these funds. And when we go to conferences, there's so many vendors who are like, we'll help you get your E-rate funds, pay us to do it. And you're like, crap, we want that money to go to the intended purpose, not to a vendor who's just gonna help you with all the red tape and the whole, it just seems inefficient to me. So, but it was really cool to be able to go. And I can go, if you all are interested, I can go grab the business cards and tell you exactly who we met with. But if you have any other questions too. I was gone Tuesday through Friday, and our days we had stuff for Wednesday and Thursday, but there was travel, it's a ways to travel. And so I was on the same flights as the Multnomah library person, and the Oregon Library Association paid all my expenses. flight, hotel, and per diem. So the city didn't have to pay anything, just my staff time, which, you know, that's something for sure.
So all two of you went out, kind of what you did, hit their senators and,
All four of us went to both senators' offices.
I mean, all 200. I think.
Oh, yeah, so there were people from every state, and so they had their appointments set up in advance. And we went and, so you do your Senate appointments in the morning and the representative appointments for in the afternoon.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, it was interesting, I would do it again. Yeah,
Did you learn anything? Very like, I mean, I'm sure you learned a lot, but was there anything that you came away with and were like, oh, I had no idea about this, or like, oh, that changes my perspective on that, or anything like that?
well. I just really I had never been to DC before. I guess I was really surprised that both buildings looked kind of really ancient high schools inside. Like they were, except for the marble floors, I guess, in some areas, but the hallways for the most part just looked very like a 1950s high school building. I don't know. And I learned, I think, from talking to some of the people in our appointments. I think most of what I learned was from my colleagues, and how these funds impact them. But some of the staff, it was interesting to me that the E-rate program and broadband were in totally different department or different portfolios for the staff. And I said, well, actually the broadband, the broadband equity and whatever deployment funds are really related to this E-rate, because the discounted broadband program's nice, but if you don't even have broadband, you can't use it. And I said, 4 miles from Intel, like some people don't have either cell service or internet. I mean, now they can use Starlink, I guess, but so it was just without that infrastructure, libraries and schools can't use that.
Were you able to do any sightseeing?
Just that the Library of Congress did at the end of the day, Thursday, and then Friday morning, my flight wasn't till later in the afternoon, so I went to the Smithsonian for a few hours.
Okay, nice.
No, that was really interesting.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah.
Anybody, any questions, anyone? Okay, moving on. Announcements and information, Friends of the Library update, and I am not dialed in. So.
I know you're a volunteer for them, but you're not on the board, so I did go to their quarterly membership meeting, which was earlier this month, and let's see. It sounds like the soft opening for the little bookstore, it's April 1st, and they are recruiting. Or is it now? And they are recruiting for volunteers to staff their store hours. They're gonna start with just two days a week, some open hours, I think on Wednesday and Saturdays. Since it's gonna be all volunteer run. And then they're funding our library's birthday party at the end of this month, April 29th. And so they've been working on that with one of our library staff, Emily West, to plan a really fun party. So I hope you can come. No, it's actually gonna be here. Hopefully it'll be a nice day, but It's gonna start like right when the library closes that day and there's gonna be a little evening event.
Okay. UGB PEC meeting update.
Yeah, I think our city recorder added that to the agenda since I think it's a standing item for all of the participants now. So who attended was there another meeting since our last library?
I don't know, I haven't gotten any information since.
Okay,
Oh, you're on it.
Do you have any there, Ally?
Yeah,
okay, so I think maybe there hasn't been another meeting since you went, oh, there has, Mandy?
No, I think you're
Oh,
correct.
you're just shaking your head, okay. I did hear at council Monday that there was a delay from the people that are funding this project, the TGM grant. There was some sort of delay, so maybe they hadn't scheduled the next meeting yet or something.
Okay, ex officio, Mandy? You're on.
I'm trying to think of something to share that might be net new. I know that Mark DeFord shared some current events such as TGM, current what they're working on, as well as the audits. So what would be net new information for you guys effective Monday would be that there's a actually an umbrella policy under development that would be impacting boards and commissions, including the library board. So this umbrella policy, the goal is really about creating consistency and clarity across all boards. So expectations and rules and processes are clearly defined and aligned. And we've heard over time that there can be some ambiguity sometimes about how recommendations move forward or where decision making authority sits. And what the expectations are across all the groups. And so this policy is just meant to kind of clean up that ambiguity. So, to make things a little bit more operationally efficient for all of the volunteers, right? And to take out the guesswork, although sometimes everybody likes a little bit of mystery, right? But I do want to be clear that this is not about changing any of the boards or commissions, really missions or limiting voice or input or impact. This is all boards and commissions and volunteers bring subject matter expertise that the council relies on. That's not changing. This is just about making sure the structure is clear about how work is consistent. And so this umbrella policy will make all of our boards and commissions jobs easier, not harder, for the boards to engage and operate with the city council in a more predictable fashion. And so effectively as this develops, which it's currently the city council took a pass Monday at the policy, is going to be advancing to our attorney for a review. And so after that review process is complete, ideally we would take the next step to socialize this and review this with our councils and boards and commissions to see what's working, what's not, and what would be helpful to maybe even add from your guys' expertise so we can make sure this lands in a way that supports the work of our boards and commissions. And so I know these policy changes can sometimes be a little concerning, and I get that. And so we welcome feedback, and we'll definitely make sure there's a feedback loop as this advances through the process with our legal team.
Okay. Thank
Mandy,
you.
this is Larry Gonzalez. Does this involve a change in the city charter?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, that's all you have, Mandy?
Umbrella policy, yes.
Okay,
Robin?
thank you.
Robin had
Since our last board meeting, we council did swear in a new counselor whose
Yes,
name is Anna Warrington.
thank you.
So we have 7 counselors again now. And that happened earlier, the beginning of March. So
Thank you. Good. Thank you for reminding me. Yes.
yeah.
Okay,
So I'm sure you'll be meeting her in a library board meeting sometime.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Good of the order. Anyone have any announcements? Okay.
I will be out next week for spring break. I'm actually taking it off. I think I've only done that once before, but like the whole week, but taking vacation.
Okay, moving on, approval of future meeting dates. Wednesday, April 15th. Does that work for everyone? Okay, I guess that's it. Are we ready to adjourn? Okay, we're gonna adjourn at 6:57.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. We had everybody here but Bridget, so great.
Nice job, Jim.
Thank you.
Yeah.